Good afternoon, podcast community. You're on the Technology Matters podcast with a technology guy. He has dropped out of the sky because he's usually flying in balloons, but he's down with us today. Pete, thanks for being on, but tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve. The non-balloon part.
My name is Pete Zirnheld, and we have a technology that monitors people in their home or in a assisted or independent living community. It has fall detection and also monitors activities of daily living through AI to differentiate changes. So if somebody's restroom habits have changed or possibly their mobility is changing, it can alert that there's something going on and that the individual needs attention.
It's so important to leverage our new technologies like AI and how it can benefit people that if they're aware of it. Let's go back to how did you find yourself in technology? Because I think after talking to you, you've been in technology, or that's something you're familiar with. Give our viewers a little idea of how you got into Seesaw.
Actually, I'm rather new to technology, but my
Okay.
business partner and I both had cared for our aging parents, and
Mhm.
particularly our moms. And when another friend introduced us to the platform that Seesaw is built on,
Mhm.
we both found it very interesting and saw it as a way that we could really help a lot of people. We could uh, reduce. So the technology has won recognition from Johns Hopkins, um, uh, Southern Cal, Georgia
Mhm.
Tech, Emory, the National Institutes on Aging, and the National Institutes on Health for reducing caregiver stress and anxiety. So you think about our technology is really helping a person stay independent and safe, but the reality of it is we're helping their caregivers as much as we're helping them. So Nick and I both saw this as an opportunity to help people and keep people safer and happy longer in their homes or in their independent living communities.
Yeah, that's important. I know my mom's 94 and we have a video, system sent in. It was my sister. She's up in Richmond, so she's not down here. But my sister will watch her. What's the difference between just regular video and what you guys are offering out? You mentioned AI, but tell our viewers like what that might have a video surveillance. What would be the difference?
Well, we actually have over 170 different sensors that we can incorporate. Our main thrust is that we don't have any cameras or wearables. And you say, well, how can you do that? In a bathroom or a bedroom, we would use a radar system that sees a bag of water rather than a figure, a form. So I ask you, Pete, would your mom let you put cameras in her bedroom and her bathroom?
Yeah, that's always been it's kind of like, and I don't know the answer, but I will ask my sister. It's like you're evading the privacy of a person by sticking cameras, because I do remember somebody saying, yeah, we wouldn't put it in the bathroom because that's kind of creepy. So you're saying that the sensors are what's really driving the behavior, being able to monitor the behavior in the person's home.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Is it just little sensors that are put in different areas?
Well, so for example, we have entry sensors. That detects a person's habits of coming in and out of their residence.
Hmm.
And that help detect if there's wandering late at night, Or, we've had situations where there was somebody that had a very predictable walking pattern and didn't come back at the appropriate time, and they were found to be lost. Then in the common areas of the home, we use a sensor, a motion sensor that also detects light and ambient temperature. So it can track a person's movement through the kitchen, the living room, the common areas, and then in the bedroom and bathroom, we use the radar technology, which just gives us such much more and quicker response. The bathroom and bedroom are where falls are most likely to occur. So
Mm-hmm.
we keep those. Those are the more expensive sensors, but all of them are integrated through AI in our platform. And rather than just the door open, the door closed, there's movement in the kitchen. This
Mm-hmm.
learns that and detects that. So it might say to it, the algorithms might say, Pete used to get from his bedroom door to the coffee pot in the morning rather quickly, and he's slowed down a little bit. So there's a change in your activities of daily living that can indicate a potential issue with the individual. So,
Mm-hmm.
very common sensors. We also have things that can determine um, if in a community, if somebody is being, if they themselves or they are being showered in proper time. So humidity sensors in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we can put a moisture or humidity sensor under or next to the toilet so that we know if a toilet is overflowing or a sink is overflowing.
Hmm.
Heat sensors on a stove to determine if a stove has been left on, and subsequently it can be turned off remotely. And
Really? So, we had this was about a year ago. Somebody forgot to turn their faucet off, and it flooded, and it went downstairs into the game room and ruined the pool, not the pool table, but the shuffleboard. I mean, it was a mess because water, of course, finds ways to go. So, talk to me about being able to detect that. Are you saying that if the water was left on and we forgot to turn it off, which is very common, you're going to be able to detect that and turn it off?
sure, this technology is pretty common now. So a uh, a, a motor driven valve that can be turned off remotely. So
Mm-hmm.
our sensor says, hey, there's water on the floor, and there's not supposed to be water on the floor. So it can be programmed to automatically turn off that water, or it could trigger an alert to somebody and say, hey, there's moisture someplace where it shouldn't be. Maybe you need to look at that. Or more importantly, why is there water on the floor? What is dad doing? What's going on with dad? Is dad unconscious on the floor in the living room, in the toilet, or the sink is overflowing? So it can stimulate a variety of response. Those aren't our common sensors, but they're all
Right.
stuff that we integrate. We
So
also
you
have a bed
say that
pad
again?
that we have a bed pad that
Okay.
goes underneath the mattress, and
Yep.
that gives us heart rate and breathing rate. It also can alert a nursing staff that there is a bed exit in the middle of the night. So
Hmm.
in the case, one of our installations, they don't want people getting out of their bed in the middle of the night. So there's activity on the bed pad, and it's sensing that somebody's getting ready to get out of the bed. It can alert the nurses station of a bed exit. And
Wow. I
our
mean, that's so important to. I like to say because a friend of mine, when I had a stroke a couple years ago, it was one of those McFly moments. I didn't call 911. I was calling people in my family, which I mean, they got to call 911, but sometimes you make those mistakes, and not getting that information as quickly. But my point is, I have this bracelet now with all my information on it. So information is powerful only if it's applied. So what you're saying is we can now monitor a lot of activities, and when there's a disrupting force in the activity that you, and we're creatures of habit. I mean, that's just, I don't think anybody would say, oh, I'm not a creature of habit. We all are. I mean, some worse than others. But your sensors, if it's, I know you mentioned a nursing station, so we're in an independent living. Where does that information go here? Let's just say, is it back to a parent? I mean, a child that's keeping an eye
First of
on.
all, Pete, I want to see your wrists. Show me your wrists. Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, here we
So
go.
wearables,
No,
people
no,
don't
here we
wear
go.
them.
There we go. There.
Those are your medical alert
Yes.
bracelets.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I just can scan it, and
Good for
and then
you.
if it's a EMT, they have their code. They put that code in there. It shows everything. Like, if I would have had that, I mean, I would have picked up a lot of extra time, which time is crucial when you're having an emergency. So back to the
Absolutely.
independent living.
Sure.
So, they
So
move in here. Are the kids getting that information, or is it going to a control center? Where is that information going when the disruption of the normal routine is happening with
it
their
depends on the situation. So if we were trying to keep I'm just going to use mine because I don't have any one of them blocked out right now.
Okay.
Um, this is the app on my phone for my
Okay.
house, my installation. So if I were to fall, it would reach out to me and it would say, "We've detected a fall in your home. Is everything okay?" Via text.
Okay.
If I don't respond, it is going to escalate to my trusted circle. So your trusted circle
Oh,
could
okay.
be my three of my brothers and the next door neighbor that's been a friend for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a fall detected and there's no response at Pete's house. So somebody is going to respond to that. If they don't, you can have another level of trusted circle. And if nobody in there responds, it goes to our 5 Diamond call center. The 5 Diamond call center is going to call Pete and say, "Are you okay?" And you say, "Yeah, I'm okay. I was wrapping presents on the floor or whatever." Or if I don't respond, then it's going to start calling my trusted circle till it gets somebody. If nobody responds, then if it is set up that way, because everybody can
Mm-hmm.
individualize, it would reach out to EMS and have a emergency vehicles respond to the house.
Right.
Um, in a community, they don't want people showing up like that. So in a community, they have a very convenient dashboard that has everybody listed out. So you've got everybody in the community listed and everybody's in the green. One morning, they detect that Mrs. Smith's bathroom habits have changed, so they escalate her to a yellow. Somebody's got to go in and check on her. It's possible that she's developing a urinary tract infection or something else.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then all of a sudden you have, whoa, red alert. Mr. Jones is down in his bathroom and he's not responding. So somebody needs to get to room 203 and see what's going on with Mr. Jones. He's down.
Right.
So in a community, there would be a very convenient dashboard. So on that dashboard, at any time, they can go in, click on 203, and look at what's going on with Mr. Jones. See
Okay.
how did he sleep last night? They then can go into some very in depth. They can really go in depth and and look at his sleep patterns over the last week, over the last month,
Mhm.
over the last 3 years. How long has he been sleeping over the last 3 years? What are his bathroom habits? How
Yeah.
is his mobility looking? The AI also takes clinical notes in that situation in the dashboard, and caregivers can go in and observe those notes. They can modify the notes and they can clip and paste the notes and add into them as part of their own report. So it's
Right.
helping nurses do their jobs, nurses and caregivers do their jobs.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of technology complementing our ability to care. Because I'm a big believer. I'll have people who say, "Oh, AI is going to do everything." I said, "Well, it's going to be a tool to assist you. We still need humans to think. It's going to give us the the feedback that we need to respond." I mean, I like the idea that you're embracing it, but still allowing that home care worker or that healthcare worker to be involved, because looking at the notes, seeing what's happening, because you're constantly seeing the behavior of your patients and seeing if there's need. Because the worst thing is a day goes by, and I know this was a little bit different, but a friend of mine, a golfer buddy, he was out of town and he had a stroke, hit the floor. If his wife didn't call him that night, he had been out all day. If she would have said, he probably just got busy, and she did make that call and didn't hear from him and got the people to go into the room, he wouldn't be here today. So
Hmm.
getting information as quickly as you possibly can is, I'm sure you see it, life and death, because
Absolutely.
time is everything, and you have to have ways of really being on top of behavior, because we all know falls are not the thing seniors want to have, because not only the head is a big issue, but I was reading the other day or listening that the body takes a sudden jolt when it hits. It's like when we fall when we're older, all that weight hits a body that's not 25 anymore. So it it affects it differently than we think, because we're always thinking, oh, we won't want to hit the head, but there's all these other parts of the body that, if we're not aware, can really hurt us. But you're saying we can get that information. Where are you seeing, like, the application? So you and your partner have this wonderful technology. Where are you seeing it being used in the marketplace that we live in?
Well, uh, we this is awesome for keeping people at home and independently longer. Or I was at a networking thing this morning and they were talking about the stubbornness factor. I ain't going into a home. I'm going to die here in the house that I've lived in for the last 55 years.
Hmm.
Mom, you've had 3 falls. I don't care. I'm going to have another fall. Well, here is a great thing that a family can install and have some peace of mind, and know that they're going to be alerted if mom falls or wanders away from the home. Uh, I read an article about a lady in Alaska that an elderly woman, and she was mauled by a bear in her backyard. The family found her a long time later. Had they had the entry sensors, they would have known that she had wandered and she wasn't back inside. She needed to be. So, for individuals in their home, it's a fantastic thing. If you think about staying independent in the home a couple of months longer and the cost of assisted living these days, that's a giant savings for the
Yeah,
family and the individual.
yeah.
Our thrust is to get it into communities. This
Hmm.
is a fantastic thing for communities who typically have kind of got their head in the sand when it comes to technology. They're afraid of it.
Mhm.
We're not trying to eliminate anybody, take anybody's job. We're looking to augment. We're looking to give that community a higher standard of care for all of their residents, whether it be independent living or assisted living or acute care. Uh, a better quality of care for the and to differentiate themselves from the other communities because we all know that the communities are all fighting for occupancy,
Yep.
and this is a great way for people to keep their facility full.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, it's a great value added benefit to say we can keep an eye on your mom or dad by really having this unique technology that allows the kids to have peace of mind because you really are, wondering, will mom or dad be okay in this new facility? And knowing that you can have a hand in that, because I always see people here and people come visit, and you will I'll say, we'll keep an eye on your mom, and that kind of thing. But the bottom line is I can't. I mean, I can't go knocking on the door every couple hours. Hey, you okay? I mean, you want to be able to keep an eye and be, cognizant of what's going on, but you have to respect people's privacy too. So you're saying with the sensors and the monitoring and all that's able to be accomplished. What would you say to our viewers that are thinking, well, do I have to take a second mortgage out to be able to afford something? How does it work? By each sensor? Do you price it by the room, or what? Can you give us an idea of the investment range?
there's a basic kit that includes and we don't mark the equipment up. There is a basic kit that includes the entry sensors, the motion sensors, and the gateway, the brains, and they all communicate via Bluetooth. And then the radar units, which the name is Van, and it's a very common. They have millions and millions of units deployed, but none of them with the AI technology that ours does. It gives our much more robust
Mhm.
information file. So, a typical installation in a community, we're looking at approximately $750 for equipment. And then
Mhm.
our AI caregiving can start at $60 a month, but typically with the full package, $80 a month for the AI caregiving. And when you compare that to any of the other systems, it is a bargain. Um,
Yeah,
some
that's
of the
peace of
systems
mind.
are 250 a month, 270 a month, and it's affordable enough. I was going to point out, one of the things that Nick and I always say is everybody has a story. And, 2 years
Yeah.
before we actually started Seesaw, we were researching this technology and looking at getting into the business. And I talk to people. I have a place that I hang out at, and everybody knew 2 years before what I was getting into. And one of the really good friends, he said, "Yeah, my dad was in an independent living, but they did check on all of the residents twice a day." And he said, "Oh, thanks for coming by, Anne. It's always good to see your smiling face. It makes my evening. I can go to bed happy now." And he turns around and stumbles on his own 2 feet and falls down. And he laid on the ground for almost 12 hours till the next person came the next day to check on him. And
Mhm.
fortunately, he was okay. Um, Nick's mom one evening got up out of bed after she was in bed at her assisted living community, and she got dizzy and fell down and didn't have the strength to get up by herself. And she was fine, stubborn 90-year-old woman, and she just pulled the blankets and a pillow off the bed and spent the night on the floor. And found her the next morning. "Oh, you're right. Yes, I'm okay." But you don't want your loved one to be down on the floor. So
Yeah.
You think about peace of mind. We wanted to call our company that, but everybody and their uncle has that name used up already.
Yeah. Well, I love that what you've described. Tell our viewers how can they get a hold of you?
Right there, Pete at C. It's actually, I'm sorry, it is Pete Z at
Okay, we're
seesawpartners.com.
gonna put that in there because we want to make sure when this gets published, we want them to be able to get a hold of Z. Okay. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. Okay, and then give us that phone number, and then for our audio listeners.
Pete Z at seesawpartners.com. And our my phone number is 404-664-9536. And there's no such thing as a stupid question or wasting my time. I'm always available to answer questions for people and talk to them about our technology and how it can help them and their loved ones.
It's so important to know what's available out there because we don't know what we don't know. So I want to just challenge our viewers. If you know somebody you think can use this, share the video, share the podcast with them. Let them know where Pete is and how he can assist you. Reasonable, but yet that peace of mind knowing that your loved one is being kind of taken care of, especially because I do, as much as I engage with AI as far as conversation, my partner's a geek on it. I mean, he's geeked out on it to use it for processes. I love when you can say what you just said, how it can monitor the movement. We're all moving in a certain place every day. And if it sees a pattern that's not the same as it usually is, then you're able to get that information to the right people, the trusted circle that you have. So, Pete, what would you say as we close down, what would you want our viewers to take home from this podcast today?
You don't have to agonize about caring for an aging loved one. Technology is not always evil. This is a great technology. It's not too invasive, and it can help you sleep better at night, knowing that you're going to be notified if there's an issue with mom and dad or Aunt Mary Ellen or whoever your loved one is. And it's not ridiculously expensive. It's very effective. It also it sends out social reminders as well. So it would say, hey, send grandma a picture today and follow it up with a phone call, or today would be a good day to take mom for a walk, which is also important. Social isolation is a
Yes,
horrible thing. So, um,
totally.
we're here to help you. There's really nothing else like our product on the market. It is tried, true, and tested, and we're here to help you. We're here to help you sleep better at night, knowing that your loved one's not laying on the floor in their house that they grew up in or in their apartment, what the
Yes.
case.
Well, Pete, thank you so much for sharing this new technology with us and being able to help our seniors out there. We appreciate your time, and thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Pete. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, you got a good name there.